I will go ahead and pass it on over to Helena from the GSA.
Well, thanks so much, Allie, and I appreciate you putting this together. And thank you for everyone for attending. I'd like to give you some real quick information on subcontracting as a marketing strategy in government contracts. It's a really important way for vendors to break into government contracting and to learn about uh, how to approach the players in government contracting. My name is Helena Koch, as we just said. I am here. I am a small business specialist with the General Services Administration. Along with my associate Claudia Hadley, have prepared the slides for you, and we're going to be giving you this information, and hopefully it'll be very helpful to you. So can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so, and this is what we're going to cover today, what we've got planned to present to you. I want to do just a quick overview of the General Services Administration and my office, the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization, what it is that we do and how we can help you. We're going to get right into the subcontracting 101, which is just going to give you basic background information on the importance of market research as you're doing subcontracting, different strategies for subcontracting, and hopefully some tips for your success. Next slide, please. A quick overview of the General Services Administration and why we're giving this presentation and why you want to be knowledgeable about us and want to do business with the GSA. The GSA is a contracting agency. What we do is our mission to put in place contracts for not only for the contracts that the GSA is going to use, but contracts that can be used for all government agencies nationwide, military and federal agencies can purchase off of the contracts that are established through the General Services Administration. So our mission, every agency is developed with a specific mission. The mission of the GSA is to do contracting, to deliver value contracting and savings for government agencies in all types of real estate, any type of acquisition for technology, for any other mission support services across the federal government. The purpose of that is that as a professional contracting agency, it is recognized that perhaps other agencies aren't as expert at buying common use items that they would use on a regular basis. Everything they are familiar with is more missions specific to their organization. So maybe the EPA is an expert at buying computers. They're expert at protecting the environment, that's for sure, but not maybe in buying computers, buying furniture, buying the common use items that every agency needs to keep themselves going and keep themselves in business. So the General Services Administration establishes those long-term contracts with our business partners, you, our business partners, to service our customers, and the customers of the GSA are the other agencies who require the needs, the goods and services. So when the other agencies have a requirement and they are not, as I said, as well versed in the contracting of that particular requirement, they always have the option to come to GSA and have GSA do it for them, do the contracting for them, and they can just place orders against the contracts that we put in place. So that's basically the GSA's mission. We do this in two different ways. We have two different sides of the house, and one is the Federal Supply Service, which is the contracting portion of the house that purchases all these different types of common use items, anything that it would keep to keep the building, to keep the organization running. So it could be stationary, it could be electricity, it could be anything, as I said, carpeting, it could be window washing, anything that a typical business would need to continue their daily work is something that the GSA does put contracts in place for, and other agencies have the option to use our contracts if they so choose. The other side of the house is the public building service side of the house, and that's the construction side of the house. Every We are responsible for the construction and the upkeep of the federal buildings and post offices. So anything that has to do with the actual structure of the building, the contract is done from our public building side of the house. These two built different sides of the house do work entirely different ways. But again, they cross over all government agencies. So any government agency can come to the GSA and have us do the contracting for them. And that's why it's important for you as small business vendors to know who GSA is, to know who we're working with, what types of contracts we have out there that are open, and perhaps uh, get on contract with GSA and do business with us. Next slide, please. According to the Small Business Act, um, we are required to advocate for small businesses. Uh, every agency establishes an Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization within their facility. So every agency has an OSDBU office. And the purpose of the OSDBU office is to make sure that each agency is providing the maximum practicable opportunity for small businesses to take part in all of the contracting, whether it be by being a prime contractor, by being a subcontractor. We do have to have just make sure that all agencies, that all businesses have a portion of the work. This isn't just for the big guys doing government work. We want to have everybody included. So we are, as this OSDBU office, we serve as the advocate for the small businesses. It ensures inclusion of small businesses as sources for all the goods and services in federal acquisitions as both primes and subs. And we also manage the small business utilization program for our respective agencies. So, of course, our agency, I would work with the OSDBU office within the General Services Administration. If you want to do work with the EPA and you want to get in touch with their OSDBU office, every agency has an OSDBU office, and they will give you information on how you can be included in the small business programs within their agency. So it's just something you can Google at any time, any agency slash OSDBU, IRS slash OSDBU, irs.gov slash OSDBU, epa.gov slash OSDBU, and every agency has an OSDBU office. Next slide, please. The way our organization is set up is that we have 11 different OSDBU offices that are scattered throughout the country, because our program is so very, very large, that we make regional offices. We have regional offices that are scattered, and each regional office, while we all report to our central office in Washington, we all have specific knowledge about what's going on in our region. I myself am from the Region 3 office located in Philadelphia. Um, we handle Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, and Southern New Jersey. So if you have specific questions about purchasing that's going on in those particular states, you would want to get in touch with our office in Philadelphia, and so forth with the other regional offices. They have specific information for their own locations, as well as I said, we all report to Washington and Central Office. It's a national program, and we can all give you information on the national portion of the office's practices. There is a link listed on this website which gives you all the names and telephone numbers and email addresses for the support in any of these regions. So if you want to go and get in touch with somebody in California and find out what's been going on, because we know there's been a lot of national disasters. How does that affect the purchasing in California? You can get in touch with that office by just going onto this link. Next slide, please. Okay, we provide training and education to increase understanding of GSA. So that's basically what we're doing now. We want you to understand who GSA is, what we're doing, how we can serve you, what you want to get in touch with us for. We host and we attend small business events, and we help the small businesses navigate the federal procurement process, which is a very difficult process for anyone. Small businesses don't have as much time on to or staff to do a lot of investigating. So even though there is you're wanting to look for information that pertains particularly to your own facility or your own office, you can also get in touch with the OSDBU office anywhere to help for assistance in navigating the procurement process. We conduct one-on-one counseling sessions with the vendors to show them where they need to be, what we expect to see from them, just walk them through the process. We develop tools, electronic tools to assist the acquisition workforce, and we participate in the advocacy, of course, always for the small businesses. We review and we approve internal acquisition strategies to make sure that the maximum practicable opportunity exists for small businesses, whether it be as a prime or a sub, in every procurement that comes through our offices. Next slide, please. Okay. We establish subcontracting goals, and every agency establishes subcontracting goals, which sets the parameters on where we expect uh, our subcontracting opportunities to be accomplished. We establish the agency establishes these goals, and then we do workforce training to make sure that the acquisition workforce is well aware of the subcontracting goals that are established in the beginning of the fiscal year. We monitor the subcontracting goals prior to contract award. So, as the contracting officers go through their procurement, we are monitoring them constantly to make sure that if it's not a project that is being set aside for small business, that there are specific and a good subcontracting goal has been accomplished and agreed to prior to the contract award. We inform contractors of the statutory responsibility, and by that I mean, of course, that this is not just something that we are doing as an extra duty. This is something that is set by law. That there's a statutory responsibility that each prime contractor award a certain amount, a certain goal to small businesses in every procurement that they have. And we support the acquisition workforce in market research to help them find the small businesses. So as the acquisition workforce is developing a contract, we are going out constantly to work with the small businesses and to find small businesses so that we can present qualified small businesses to our acquisition workforce. Next slide, please. Um, we have subcontracting goals. Again, as I said, all prime vendors, all the larger vendors who are awarded large contracts, we refer to them as other than small, um, are all aware that they are required to submit subcontracting plans before the award of their contract, and that those subcontracting plans include all subsets of small businesses. We have a goal for small businesses. We have a goal for all of the subcategories of small business, such as women owned, service disabled, veteran owned, hub zone, small disadvantaged businesses, where we qualify all the different types of businesses and make sure that each socioeconomic grouping of small business has an ample opportunity to be awarded a portion of that contract. Next slide, please. Subcontracting 101, a primer. Subcontracting with small business is a major factor. It's a major portion of our work here in GSA and in all government agencies. And the reason for that is it contributes to the health of the United States economy, and it includes new job creation. So it's important that small businesses be included in every contract. Next slide, please. I think Claudia, what did you want to take over here?
No, 17. Little.
Okay, I'm not sure. I don't see a number system.
Oh,
So,
okay.
okay. All right.
Um,
So I'll continue. So Claudia and I are going to be tag teaming on this. So, um, subcontracting 101. What's in it for the prime? Why is a prime interested in subcontracting with a small business, bringing them on as a portion of their contract? Well, first of all, because it is written into their contract, it is a required part of every large contract that uh, there is a portion set aside for small businesses so that they are affording what we consider the maximum practicable opportunity for small businesses to have a portion of the contract. But more than that, it does help the prime to bring on new small businesses. And Prime wants someone who will bring solutions to the table. Small businesses usually bring an innovative solution. They bring a specific expertise, uh, the expertise of their employees to the table. So it's something that you are subcontracting has to be beneficial for both the prime and the sub. And the prime knows that they have to subcontract out, but they are always looking for someone who will give them a solution to a problem that exists. Prime also is seeking access to set aside opportunities that would otherwise be unavailable to it. So if there's a contract that is set aside for small business, you as a small business look at it and you say, I can't do the entire contract, but I could do a major portion of it. You could go to a large business and have them subcontract. Ask them if they're interested in subcontracting on your small business set aside. A prime will always say it's better to have a portion of a contract than to have if you can't have the entire contract, of course it's set aside for small business. They'll be glad to subcontract, and primes do subcontract with small businesses uh, in order to fulfill a need. So it's not just a large to small, it also can be small to large, that the small business that's being awarded the contract is subcontracting out to large businesses. And they can do a certain portion, and it depends on the type of work, and that's written into the statutes, how much of the work that they can do. So, um, you can offer your services, or you can open up a whole way of doing business for the primes by letting them know that you're interested in as bidding on a set aside and you're looking for subcontractors. And next slide, please. Okay, this is our goals. Every year the goal does change slightly. It doesn't change drastically. Small Business Administration sets a goal at the beginning of the fiscal year for what percentage of every contract should be awarded to small businesses. So for this fiscal year, our small business category goal is 22%, which means that every large contract that's awarded to a prime contractor, which is over $750,000, must be 22% of that total value must go to small businesses. And then as once we establish that they're going to subcontract out whatever portions of the work to small business, then we also ask them to make sure that they are including all the different subsets. And so we have to find out which of those small businesses are part of the Small Disadvantaged Business Program, which are part of the Women Owned Small Business Program, Service Disabled Veteran Owned Small Business, the Hub Zone Small Business Program. All of these programs have a goal that they have to reach a certain portion of that total dollar value of the contract will be going to those types of those subsets of small business. Typically, these stay pretty even through from one year to the next. There's the small business category might differ by 1% or so, but for these the small disadvantaged, women owned, service disabled, hub zone, it's always been pretty much stable, that it's going at the percentages that are established. This year, though, in particular, Small Business Administration came back to all government agencies and said, for the last 20 years, we've had a service disabled veteran owned small business goal of 3%. 3% of all your prime contracts must go to service disabled veteran owned small business through subcontracting. This year, from now on, we're going to make it 5%. So that's almost doubled. They've almost doubled the quotient of the prime contractors are looking to include service disabled veteran owned small businesses. So it's the small business uh, liaison person at any prime vendor is always conscious of the goaling and how they have to meet the goals and how the goals can increase and how we're going to report on them. Next slide, please. Um, so as a small business, you might be a small business and you haven't done a lot of work with the government, or you have and you just haven't looked into the different contracting assistance programs. But the contracting assistance programs through the government are extremely important in government contracting. So if it's important to the government to do this, to find out what the subset of your small business is, it should be important to you. So we do have contracting assistance programs that are managed by the Small Business Administration. You can go onto this website and see if you can be included in any of these subcategories. You might say, well, I'm a woman-owned business. Everyone knows I'm a woman-owned business. I registered in the SAM as a woman-owned business, so that's pretty much taken care of. Well, not really, because these contracting assistance programs need you to be certified through the Small Business Administration. So you need to, if you are in any of these categories, you want to go onto this website and see how you fit yourself into the actual program, and then fill out the forms and be certified. Because if there is a set aside for we'll say, a small women-owned business, and you have not been certified as a small women-owned business through the SBA, you will not be able to participate in that set aside. We do not question that you're a woman-owned business, but you don't have the certification. So it's important that you go to this website, just go through the different programs, and see if you can fit your firm into any of these programs. Next slide, please. And this goes further on to the 8A Business Development Program, the Hub Zone Program, all the joint ventures, how you can fit yourself and place your small business so that you are able to participate in a government procurement. This is something that needs to be done before the actual need comes up. You should be looking into it right away and just getting yourself certified if you're able to fit yourself into these categories. Because when the actual contract hits the streets, and when the primes or the agencies are looking for the subsets, they want them now, and you will not get it through in time. I'd like to take mention of the 8A Business Development Program. Everybody should look into that and see if they are. If you're a small business, you might very well be eligible for the 8A Small Business Development Program. It's a very vibrant program. We can set projects aside for sole source for people who are in the business development program, the 8A program. There's many contracts that are set aside for competition that's restricted to firms that are in the 8A Business Development Program. So it's all of these are something you should be aware of, you should review, and if there's any opportunity for you to fit yourself into these programs, this is, we'd encourage you to go to do it. A lot of vendors will say, well, I'm state certified. I've gotten certification through the state. I've gotten certification through the Department of Transportation. I'm certified through whomever. If you're not certified through the SBA, you're not able to participate in the set-asides. So this is a really important site that you go into, review, make sure that you are applying for anything that you're eligible for. Next slide, please. Okay, now we've established what's in it for the large firms. The large firms are looking for partners who can provide a solution to a problem they have. what's in it for the small firms? What are you going to get out of it? Well, if you haven't done contracting, or if you're a fairly newly established firm or you haven't done government contracting, it's a great way for you to get into the government contracting arena, see what it's about, see all that is required of a prime, and it's fairly low risk fashion for you. You've got a certain portion of the work, but you don't have all the reporting requirements that the prime has. So it's a good way to break into government contracting. It helps you learn the ways of government in a scalable fashion, something that's not overwhelming for your size firm. And it helps you develop the needed past performance. And past performance is extremely important in all government contracts um, for all agencies. Next slide, please. Um, as I said, primes are looking for someone who can be the solution to a problem they have. They are all required to subcontract out portions of their work. We do not tell them who to subcontract out to or what portion of the work needs to be, what category of the work needs to be subcontracted out. So when you approach a prime contractor for subcontracting opportunities, well, first of all, you have to do your market research and identify the primes to make sure that uh, you're not chasing someone who doesn't have a requirement for the type of work that you do. So you want to do some market research, identify primes that have recently been awarded contracts, identify primes that have been that are typically government contractors. They're the contractors that the government goes to typically. And then you identify their subcontracting opportunities. A lot of prime contractors have on their website a little tab that'll say, if you are you interested in subcontracting, or would you want to be a contracting partner? However they word it, they put that information on there because it shows the government that they are actively seeking subcontractors. So that goes to the best faith effort that they're putting out, and it gives you an opportunity to get your foot in the door, to answer those, to put your information into their websites, and to let them get the process started, to let them know that you're interested in subcontracting with them. You want to market your services and products to the prime contractors by establishing those types of relationships, and also by getting in touch with them, meeting them at different events, getting to know them through industry events, industry day events, just by taking every opportunity you can to meet with a prime contractor. And you want to develop your unique marketing strategy. You don't want to just approach a prime contractor saying this who I am, and I'm a hub zone firm. So you have to let them know what it is that your actual core competency is, and you want to be able to market yourself in a very quick, easy manner, that that elevator speech that you're able to give to the primes, to let them know that you are a solution provider to their types of the types of work that they do. um, you can find your primes by going into the electronic library from the GSA puts out there. We have an electronic library that lists all the vendors who are on GSA contracts, and then you can get in touch with the ones individually that you feel would be um, open to your type of business. We also, I'm going to go through, we do have a subcontracting directory, which gives you the information and the actual contact person that you can start a conversation with. So we give you but you have to approach them by telling them how you can help them, because their primes are constantly being uh, offered services of small businesses who just want to do work with them, and they have no real information on what the company is about. So you want to come there prepared to know, I know what the company is, I know what you've gotten awarded lately, I know this is how I would fit into you. You want to develop your strategy and get your foot in the door that way. Next slide, please. When you discover a subcontracting opportunity, you should evaluate whether it is a true opportunity that your firm would benefit from. You don't want to just take any job, even though that you say, oh, well, it's a start. Well, it's not. If it's not a good opportunity for your firm, you could be hurting yourself. So you evaluate every opportunity individually, make sure that this is a good opportunity, and it does highlight what it is your core competencies are. You can assess your capabilities, and those are the prime. Make sure that the prime is a reliable prime, that is somebody who's maybe not doing the first job with the federal government, but they have a history of doing work with the federal government. Make sure you're dealing with people that are going to enhance your capabilities, that are going to help you grow. And that's, will partnering with this firm add to the development of your quality past performance record? So is this something that you want to highlight? This is going to enhance your past performance, something that you'll be able to claim further on when you go to the next opportunity. So you just want to make sure that you're getting yourself into a good situation, and that the prime that you're working with is going to utilize you to the fullest. So you do have to have these conversations and make sure that you are going to be you're going to benefit from this. Not only they're going to benefit, but you're going to benefit. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Helena. I take it from here.
Okay, good.
Developing strategies. So you need to know what activities or strategies can you work on to develop subcontracting opportunities. Next slide, please. In order to develop your lead generation strategy, you will start with, number one, conducting your market research. It is important to understand the federal business landscape for your product or service, and to know who is buying or has a need for your product or service. Have a clear understanding of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in the marketplace, and position yourself to address the threats and constraints, and understand how you can capitalize on opportunities. Know your competitive position. If you do not know your market, you cannot develop any plans that are strategic. Number two, identifying your target agencies and departments. Use the data from your market research to help you identify the target department and agencies where you have the most leverage. What departments and agencies provide you with the most opportunity, or have the strongest need, or have shown the strongest buying behaviors toward the purchasing of your products or services. Develop your strategic plan on how you will focus your efforts and allocate resources. Once you have identified your target agencies within the federal departments, you can now develop your strategic plan with long-term and short-term goals that you will use to capture opportunities. Develop your marketing strategy. Outline the activities that you will pursue throughout the year to meet your long-term and short-term goals. Then, based on your strategy, you will refine your approach. So, where can you find this information to conduct the market search to develop a strategic approach? Next slide, please. Use the tools the government makes available. We want to introduce the GSA Forecast tool as another vehicle for businesses to gather information to develop their federal government marketing plan. It takes information from different sources to put the best strategy for winning federal contracts or subcontracts. This presentation will focus GSA Forecast tool, but as you know, there are other vehicles to do the federal research. They are listed for your convenience on this slide. The acquisition.gov website lists several federal agencies' procurement forecasts. The GSA e-library, another tool administered by GSA, it is the official source for complete GSA and VA schedules information. Small business can utilize this tool to locate contractors for potential teaming arrangements and or subcontracting opportunities. GSA Subcontracting Directory. You can conduct your market research and competitive analysis using this tool. The Dynamic Small Business Search tool, it is administered by the Small Business Administration and is where the contracting officers and prime contractors identify potential small business contractors for upcoming potential prime contracting and subcontracting opportunities. Next slide, please. Now that you have established an overall market strategy, you can now develop more in-depth agency profiles. Your agency profile is a quick glance of information about your target agencies and is specific. Budgetary information. What are the agency funding priorities with respect to your product or service? Key players. Who are the key players and decision makers? Contracting officers, program managers. What are their names and contact information? Are they open to using the GSA schedule? If not, what is preventing them from using the schedules program? Upcoming opportunities. What are some upcoming opportunities that you want to pursue? Do you have any questions about them? All information that you find in your expiring contracts report and potential opportunities that you identify in each agency's forecast tool should be included in your agency's profiles. Small business goals. Is this agency meeting their small business goals? Competition. Who are your key competitors at this agency? Next slide, please. It is not a requirement that you be registered in SAM to participate in subcontracting unless the prime requested. Remember, when subcontracting, you are working for the prime on his government contract, not directly for the government. To take full advantage of SAM features, such as interested vendor feature, you must be registered in the SAM system. Next slide, please. Click on contract opportunities. Click on advanced search. Click on notice type. Click on the arrow for the drop-down box and select sources sought, pre-solicitation, solicitation, combined synopsis, and solicitation, award notices, interested vendor. You must be registered to do these researchers. Next slide, please. You can access the GSA forecast tool of contracting opportunities using the acquisitiongateway.gov link. You do not need a username or password to access the information. On the home page, on the right-hand side, click on the tools and resources. You will find the forecast of contracting opportunities tool. Next slide, please. This slide will help you identify potential contract opportunities with GSA. Please spend some time on this website and become familiar with GSA forecast of contract opportunities site. The goal is that you become familiar with the GSA forecast of contract opportunities. All government agencies maintain a forecasting of contracting opportunities website, and all of these forecasts are found at the acquisition.gov link on this slide. On this forecast, we are required to post all future or expected requirements over $25,000 for supplies and for services on our forecast site, Acquisition Gateway. The forecast tool provides information on planned federal contracting opportunities and assists with acquisition planning by helping vendors learn about potential prime contracting opportunities early in the process. Not all of these requirements listed in the forecast will be awarded. They are uploaded to give contractors an overview of what should be coming out from an agency. You can easily filter the data by agency, location, class of performance, NAICS code, contract types, and more. A quick link was developed for the forecast site, which is www.fbf.gov. There are also the two other links that will all take you to our GSA Federal of Contracting Opportunities sites. And as I mentioned earlier, the acquisition.gov website will take you to all federal agencies' forecast sites. Please include these forecast sites in your government market research. Next slide, please. You can do your search using the GSA eLibrary website. This will help you identify if you are selling a product or service under our mass contract program. Here is a snapshot of what that looks like. Next slide, please. Many vendors find subcontracting a preferable route to getting experience as a federal contractor. Large business prime contractors with contracts expected to exceed $750,000 or exceeding $1.5 million for construction are required to subcontract some of the work to eligible small businesses. This is an excellent way to test the waters of federal business without suffering undue risk. The requirement for a subcontracting plan does not apply to small businesses. Another advantage is that subcontracting doesn't require a subcontractor to hold a scheduled contract. When a small business receives a subcontract from a larger prime contractor, the vetting process is done by the prime, not by GSA. Next slide, please. If you are looking to get your foot in the door with federal contracting, subcontracting for a GSA prime vendor is a great way to do this. Our GSA prime contractors who have received federal contracts over $750,000 for products and services or $1.5 million for construction contracts may have potential subcontracting opportunities. You can utilize our GSA subcontract directory, and as you can see from this snapshot, you can filter your search either by contractor's name, NAICS, or state. You can also find primes at GSA's e-library website. You don't have to have a GSA mass contract. We recommend you visit both websites to do the further research. Next slide, please. This is the small dynamic search. Next slide, please. Here is a snapshot of a dynamic small business search profile page. Please take a look at your current profile page. This site is essentially your free advertisement to the federal government and potential teaming partners. I mention this because we see outdated information on company profiles quite often. It could be an email or phone number that are not in service or a point of contact who is no longer in the company. This site may be your first contact with a government agency, so please update it and ensure it accurately reflects your current business. Your dynamic small business search profile can leave unpopulated fields. Pay attention to your capabilities narrative. It may need to be polished. Make note of any specialized services or supplies you provide and technical expertise that separates you from your competitors in this section as well. Also, take a look at your keywords. This helps narrow the search results, which is helpful if we are looking for some additional specialty or specialized skill, which is less common under a general NAICS code category. Make sure you update this section with your common industry keywords and those specialized keywords that differentiate you from your competitors. Updates are done by visiting connect.sba.gov and requesting access to your DSBS information. It can take up to 3 days to get access to it. You can also view a video by clicking I need more information on how to access the SBS from the homepage of connect.sba.gov. This video is extremely helpful. If you need assistance, please contact your Apex Accelerator. Next slide, please. Anything pertinent to your field that can differentiate your business is advisable to add it in the dynamic small business search. Next slide, please. There has also been an update to the dynamic small business search profile. The SBA now allows you to link your capability statement to your profile, which helps you market your business to federal agencies and potential teaming partners. I have added the direct link to the dynamic small business search, as well as a link to find instructions on logging into your DSBS profile through SBA Connect. Next slide, please. Helena, you're muted.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, what you bring to the table. All right, next slide, please. Okay. The capability statements. You should always have a good capability statement is like gold. Your Apex Accelerator can help you um, come up with a good capability statement. I really would suggest that you have a capability statement that's specific to government contracting with the kinds of information that government needs to know. And if you're not submitting it directly to a government agency, the primes know that you are well versed in government contracting just by the way you set up your capability statement. So you should have a capability statement that will give you the type of information that government agencies want to know. Things like your NAICS code, your if you are have any kind of government certifications, all that type of information. As I said, your Apex Accelerator is very well versed in giving you information on how you can set this up, and it would be a quick look that the government agencies are looking for when it comes to what it is that your company is offering. Next slide, please. There's no set format for the capability statements. But you do want to have your core competencies. You do want to have your certifications. You do want to have competitive differentiators, things like that. Will that people are going to it's going to catch their eyes, and it's going to let them know that you do know that you have done research. You're not just coming in brand new saying I'd like a government contract. You've done your research, you know what's expected of you, and you know what it is that they want to see. If you have a capability statement that you submit to commercial uh, your commercial partners, it might not necessarily be the same one that you're going to submit to your government agency partners or your prime contractors. Next slide, please. The things that the primes are asking. This is what the primes want to know from you, and the kind of information you should have offered upfront, or you have an answer for right away. Do you have a contract with an agency? As I said, primes, even though they do have the responsibility to subcontract out portions of work, they are looking for somebody that can benefit them, that can provide them a solution. They have a slew of vendors who are coming to them and saying, I'd like to have a subcontract. If you come with knowledge in hand, this is what I know that you have done in the past. This is what your core competencies are. This is who you typically deal with. Those types of questions should be able to be discerned immediately from any conversation with them. So they want to know, do you have a contract with an agency, which means that you've had some experience with an agency, whether it's an IDIQ, whether it's a GSA schedule, whether it's just a small contract, a one-time thing. What have you done with with a government agency? Do you have any relationships within the agency? And what that means is, have you met with anybody? Have you in an agency? Have you attended an industry day and spread your information around to government agencies? Uh, when you go to these industry days, when you go to your networking sessions, and you establish a relationship with the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization, with any of the project managers, with any of the contracting officers, have you established a relationship within the agency? That's definitely going to benefit the prime. So that's something they want to know. Have you been awarded any government contracts, a GWAC? Are you in any of the government programs? Are you in the multiple award schedule 8A pool? As I said, the 8A certification is extremely valuable. There's a specific government pool for 8A vendors of all sorts, of all types of businesses, but they have an 8A contract. So it's those, even though sometimes it might seem like it's painful to fill in those certification applications, and they do become a process. It is extremely beneficial in the end. Do you have any recent and or relevant past performance? They want to know what your past performance is and how it relates to the job that they are advertising, how it relates to what they are looking for. Have you teamed with any large business before? Have you had an experience with teaming or subcontracting? And do you have, what is your resident or your unique expertise. You need to really highlight what it is that your core competencies are, what your unique expertise is, what you do best. This is what the government, what primes are telling us they want vendors to have an answer for quickly. Next slide, please. Um, Past performance. Past performance is always evaluated. Past performance is very important. It's always difficult to get the beginning of your past performance in there. But once you establish past performance, it's very important that you can highlight that you have had good past performance. We need reliable references. I think it's stated on your or your capability statement that you've had past performance in a certain type of skill, and they will check your references. We will check your references. So if you're offering references from a job that you've done in the past, please make sure that that person knows that you've offered their name as a reference, because too many times contracting officers have said, oh, this company said that they did some work for you, and the person who might have supervised you at 2 years ago can't bring your information up quickly to his mind, and they'll say, oh, I unimpressible, that you did not leave in a good impression. So it's just, you need to have reliable references. You need to let the people know that you're using as references, that I've offered your name as a reference, and if you recall, this is what I did for you. The government can get past performance information from anyone, so make sure your past performance is always good. If there's any problems with your past performance, if you've had a dispute with anybody, you want to have it clarified and come to a good conclusion before you approach government agencies and offer that for past performance. Similar experience and past performance are two different factors. If we're asking for past performance in a certain NAICS code or in a certain type of business line, we want past performance in that exact. I, you know, you, I've had people say, I sell furniture, I sell computer furniture, and I see that you're buying a lot of computers. And I have connections because of my work with computer furniture. I have connections, so I'm using that as my past performance. Well, that's it might be similar, but it is not past performance. So you have to make sure that you're not trying to pass something that is not actually their past performance in that they're requesting. You're not, in other words, wasting someone's time. You're not wasting your time. Don't try and relate similar experience to past performance that you've already experienced. Next slide, please. To succeed in subcontracting, hyper focus on your strongest core competency and be able to communicate this. They always say about the elevator speech. Be sure that you are prepared with an elevator speech and that you can get this information across to the person you're speaking to very quickly. Determine what your core competency is. You might have a lot of expertise, but you have a specific core competency, and be ready to discuss what it is that you do best. If you're contacting an agency, if you're contacting a prime vendor, have a call plan, have a template already written out, points that you want to make sure that you emphasize during that call. Oftentimes, people finally, reach somebody and then they get sidetracked somehow, and they come off the call and they say, that didn't go the way I wanted it to go. I didn't get my points across. So always have a call plan in effect, and sitting in front of you, the template sitting in front of you, and make sure that this is what I want to convey. This is the information I want to convey, and make sure you get it across before the call is over. Choose a small number of agencies to target. This is a lot of work, as Claudia went through and said, how you develop your market research, how you make files for, I've called this agency, I've spoken to this person, I know I've done the research in the forecast, I've done whatever it is. Make sure you have files that you can go to, that you can you refresh yourself on what's going on. refresh yourself. Yes, 6 months ago I did fill out that subcontracting tab on your website. Um, Everything that you've done, everyone that you've spoken to, so that you can appear that you're targeting them specifically. You're interested in doing business with them. So if you spread yourself too thin, you're not going to get the right information. So just find, figure out a few vendors that you feel you're going to have a good opportunity with, and concentrate on them. Have a capability statement, as I said, create a fresh statement highlighting your contribution to that partner's team. To let what you can do for them, what you've done in the past, what expertise you have within your own company. These aren't just things that are handed in. They need to be, you need to, as I said, hyper focus on your company, the point that you want to get across. So research small business partners also, other small business partners that you might want to meet up with, and together you can form a teaming relationship. So there's a lot of, you're dealing with large businesses, you're dealing with other small businesses, and you're also dealing with the agency contacts. So be sure you have a target, and that you can actually, who you want to talk to, and you've given them the proper information. The next slide, please. Attend industry days. Again, attend the industry days at target agencies to learn and network, and schedule follow-up calls, and let them know that you're going to call them. Schedule an introduction call to begin a new relationship. When you go to these industry days, when you go to networking sessions, when you go to the small business informational sessions, make sure that you pass your card around, that you get your information out there. People know that you were there, and that you are going to follow up, and then do follow up. And let them know that, with an email, I'm going to be calling you next week, and I'd like to continue our conversation. Just very politely and but persistently let them know that you're there, and what it is that you can provide to come forth with a solution for their future endeavors. I suggest that you have reusable content. Make a file with just blurbs of what it is you've done in the past, what it is that, and something that's written out professionally, that you've given some thought to. Because when a company wants to know what it is you've done, they want it today. They want you to know your business, and they want it today. And you can go to a file and you can say, well, this is going to pertain to this. This paragraph will pertain to this. These are well thought out. They are listed. You know what you're not filling them full of information that they don't need. You're giving professional information that will highlight your firm and what your qualifications are. If you have a file with just different blurbs of the information that, we did this job in the past, these are the people that we worked with, all the information that's already thought out, already well developed, you can submit it to them very quickly. Next slide, please. Again, respond to the RFIs and the sources sought. Get your name out there. Responding to requests for information, responding to sources sought, puts your capability statement, puts your information in the hands of a contracting officer. They might not be using you right now, but if they see on a repeat basis, they're going to say, I remember this firm contacted me. I remember this firm sent their information to me. I know who these people are. So it's a matter of getting your information into the right hands. You want to attend industry days and follow up with people that you meet. Strategically manage your time at these matchmaking events. They're very confusing. If you've been to any of the matchmaking events, you're giving your information over and over and over again, and sometimes you forget what you said to this one, and you forget what you said to this person. You have to keep good records. Know who that you've spoken to, and who you want to speak to, because you've already reviewed their websites. You already reviewed the type of work they do. You know about their work, and you've already reviewed them, and so you can approach that company, approach that agency with a background of knowledge. Network with other GSA contractors. GSA contractors are not, you're not competitors, you're considered partners. You want to network with other GSA contractors. You want to be able to partner with them, let them know who you are, get to know who they are, find out what their background is and what work they've done, and then approach other government GSA contractors. If you are on the GSA schedule, check out the GSA eBuy for opportunities, the electronic buying system. It's extremely important that you respond to not only the contract offerings that are the requests for information that are directed to you, but you can respond to requests for information that are just in the in the general box, so that you can get your information into the hands of contracting or officials, decision makers. Next slide, please. Again, attend pre-proposal conferences, get your name out there, introduce yourself to the contracting officer. As I said before, do you have a pre-existing relationship with the contracting officer? Do you have a pre-existing relationship with a program manager? Here's where you're going to get those pre-existing relationships. Respond to the sources sought. Let them know that you're there. Update your SAM profile. Make sure that you're current. Of course, that has to be renewed every year. Review your dynamic small business search. Go into that website and review your search, your profile, and see how you appear to other government, how an outsider would read that. Do you have your core capabilities? Do you have a keyword search? Do you have your competencies listed in there? And then go into a competitor. And the best eye opener is often if you go into a competitor's dynamic small business search. How are they presenting themselves? And how do you compare? Are you giving the same kind of information that they are giving? Are they, putting a better foot forward? So you want to just be aware of how you are compared to other small business vendors that do the same thing you do. Direct questions to the contracting officer, form any kind of joint ventures. As I said, government contracting businesses she should be considered you're not your competitor, but you're a friendly person that you can go to. They are going to be your partners. Next.
3 minutes, Elena.
Okay, next one, please. Next slide. Okay, this is our final slide. It's just who you want to get in touch with, doing business with the GSA. That we have an events page that you want to go in there and just see what kind of events or training sessions that we have, what kind of small business resources we're offering. Always review the Small Business Administration and your Apex accelerators. Everybody's giving little bits of information, and you can create your own file so that you can go to that a particular agency. You have a point of contact, you know who you're going to talk to, and you can get advice pretty easily that way. Next slide, please. This is, I'm sorry, this is an older slide. We should have taken this off. It is about an outreach event that the Small Business Office offered in June. We are constantly offering some different events that you can come to, different training sessions. You can just go into gsa.gov and put down events, training sessions, gsa.gov, put down training sessions, and it will, you'll get up-to-date information on any training sessions, on any small business events that we're participating in or we're sponsoring in the near future. Next slide, please. And that's it for us. That's for myself and Claudia. I welcome any questions if we have an opportunity, or if you want to stay on the line and ask any questions. We'll certainly be able to respond to them. And if you're not able to, and you review this later or you think about it later, and you have a question, please just email myself, email Claudia, and just, nothing formal. Say, what did you mean by this? What's this slide about? And we'll be glad to walk you through it and to give you the information. So if I can help anybody right now, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
I think that is good that we have that our emails. If anyone has further question, we can, they can contact us, and we go from there.
Yeah.
So, Ali, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you both so much. For those that are still on the call, again, this was recorded. We will have the recording here soon, as well as the chat, and that will be sent out to all attendees for this webinar. And other than that, please check out all of our upcoming events at WeBEC East. My colleague Taylor put in the chat some of our upcoming events, and you can also find them at webeceast.com/events. So with that, everybody enjoy the rest of your day. Again, you will receive these as soon as possible, and we hope to see you at a future event. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Thank you, Ali.